Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast, where if the shoe fits, you wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it.
I am Justin Gruber.
And I am Jesse Gruber.
And today we hope you will seize the faith.
Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast. We're bringing episode 186 to you tonight, and it's a clear case of good idea, bad idea. But mostly we're talking about good ideas tonight. And I am sadly without my brother. This is move weekend. They'll be moving in to their new home. So keep praying for the Blondes. It's a big move. And we'll be moving some heavy furniture tomorrow, which is going to be all good. But pray for them as this large-scale move is happening. However, I am joined by my best man. Nathan McCargo is here on the microphone. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am, like you, tired.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop us from having a good time.
Nope, not at all.
No, we're going to bring you definitely 3, but maybe 4 stories. We'll see how it goes. All of them having to do with good ideas and bad ideas, but mostly, again, good ideas. I thought to start it off, Nate, I would start us off with this story. You can find this on many news sites. I'm using Politico as my news reference. Of course, we love to use the leftist articles because they freak out a lot. This is some of these. Now I'm going to clarify. Some of these news stories are older. These aren't like brand new news stories. And maybe you've heard some of them, and maybe you haven't heard some of them, and that's okay. But definitely haven't heard any of them addressed, I think, well enough to really get what these stories are saying. So, going back to April 10th, I know, it's a while ago. Going back to April 10th, the Immigrations Customs Enforcement Agency threw up a fun little infographic on the X. And I'm assuming they also cross-published it on their other social medias as well. But the reference I have here is from their X account. And it says, ICE enforces 400-plus federal laws to ensure public safety and national security. Learn more about our mission at ice.gov. The infographic is a relatively dark background, and the main words are, if it crosses the U.S. border illegally, it's our job to stop it. And, low-key Christian Nationals, maybe it does have a cross in it down the bottom, right? You saw that?
Yeah, I did.
That's definitely a cross, right?
It's clearly a cross.
Anyway, but then it lists 4 things, right? So if it crosses the U.S. border illegally, it's our job to stop it. And the 4 things it says people, money, products, and ideas. And the ideas caused everyone to lose their minds. They deleted it, and they made a retraction. We regret any confusion that this error may have caused. Our number one goal is to provide accurate information to the public. They stated that the word ideas should have actually read intellectual property.
What?
The term ideas should have actually been intellectual property.
That would have changed their whole infographic, though.
Yeah, when it would have been way too big. You can't put that. I guess they could have just put IP.
Would have got rid of the cross in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, they would have gotten rid of the cross.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have gotten rid of the cross. But everybody was very concerned because ideas is like, are they trying to stop free speech? You can't let ideas into the country. I say yes. I say the infographic was perfect and they should have left it right where it was.
If it crosses the U.S. border illegally, it's our job to stop it.
Yep.
So, bad ideas.
Yeah.
Illegal ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah. I think any bad ideas should be stopped from crossing the U.S. border.
Stop it.
Just stop it. Just stop it. Oh, Bob Newhart. I mean, and this is going to be super meta, but bad ideas have ruined many societies.
Yeah.
Like across all of history. And one of my favorites, and this is where my history nerddom kind of geeks out a little bit. My favorite one, Nate. Mm-hmm. This is great. World War I, Germany wanted to get Russia, out of the war, so they didn't have to focus in World War One. They didn't have to focus on their Eastern Front because Russia was a problem on the east for Germany. So they had this weird, potent weapon sitting in Switzerland, and the weapon they had in Switzerland, it didn't shoot bullets. It wasn't a cannon. It wasn't a new bomb. It was a man, just a dude, sitting in exile in Switzerland. And his name was Vladimir Lenin. So Vladimir Lenin spent 30 years at this point, right, trying to overthrow the czars in Russia. So much so that he had been kicked out, exiled, and he took refuge in Sweden. And pretty much outside of like Finland, there were other countries also would have arrested Lenin as soon as he set foot in their country. France would have done it. What other country was around him? There was another country right next to that would have, if he had set foot. Germany, obviously, because he was Russian, and he would have been arrested because Germany was at war with Russia at the time. If he was exiled and he wanted to overthrow the czars, and everything was kind of roiling in Russia at that point, and it was like getting primed because of the war and how many Russians were dying to possibly overthrow the czars. And it happened in March of 17. You know, I can use the internet and make sure I don't get it wrong. Yeah, 17. March of 1917. They actually do overthrow the czars. Now, in March, he's still exiled. But the movement that overthrows the czars is essentially the one that he had been creating over the past 30 years. He wanted to get the Bolsheviks in power. I know you're still working with me because it's my nerd dump for history, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going into it.
So he's exiled, right? He wants communism. This is Vladimir Lenin. This is the guy, right, that changes Russia's history. So Germany meets with him in Bern, Switzerland. And he's like, look, if you get me into Russia, I can pull Russia out of this war. I can pull them out of this war by cementing the Bolsheviks in power and getting my communist government in power, and then I'll just stop fighting with you guys. And Germany thought it was crazy, but they did it. They got this guy in an armored car, and they smuggle him into Finland and get him back into Russia. That's what has to happen. Right? So Germany literally weaponizes the idea of communism in the person of Vladimir Lenin and puts him into Russia. And by September, from March to September, he gets in. By September, the Bolsheviks have coalesced enough power around them with other organizations, the workers' parties, and they get enough power. They take over the government, install Lenin as the leader, and pull out of the war for at least a short time. And that changes the whole course of Russian history. The communists get into power, and they don't let go to this day. So they literally weaponized a weapon, or weaponized an idea that ended up really biting them in the butt, because the communists really fight them hard in World War II, right? They come in as, we're an ally. And then they're like, yeah, we're not an ally anymore, right? And then like Germany invades, and then it's a whole problem. And then they have to fight Russia on the Eastern Front the whole time during the war in World War II. So it's like, be careful what you wish for, I guess, is the motto there.
Yeah.
Really didn't turn out great for him. But the whole idea is, certainly ideas overthrow whole societies and cultures.
So it's kind of like a little leavens the whole lump.
Oh man, it's just like that. It's just like that. That little bit of it, that has a lot of power, right? A lot of energy behind it. You know, the vocal minority, you might say, can start to totally warp and change a whole culture.
So when you look at this list and you think about when God asked the Israelites when they were conquering lands, this list is what he told them to get rid of. When you think about it, do not let the people stay. do not take the money, do not take the products, and by all means, do not attach yourself to the ideas.
Yeah, we know Aiken messed that up.
Yep.
Aiken messed that up. And Earth swallowed that man.
When you look at that, it's like there's a reason why you don't let ideas and other things creep in. You look at it, especially when it comes to the church, and when you're not holding hard and fast lines on truth, on scripture, and on doctrine, you let little ideas, plant little seeds in there, and then we wind up off to the right, left, upside down, and wonder how we got there.
Yep. And that's why I'm all about ICE throwing out bad ideas.
Yeah.
Wrong ideas that are counter to the very foundation of our country. And if you think that that's a bad idea, if you think that's censorship in some way, let me just explain something to you. Go to Europe. Go to Europe, and you will see how North African and Northeast African men have infiltrated the country and totally changed any culture that existed in Europe.
Yeah.
Outside of a few places that don't allow them to come in, places like Hungary, Poland.
More
like, these countries that have these strong moral lines. But you go to England, and I mean, the world, the most one of the most active mosques in the entire world. It's not in Turkey, right? It's not in the Middle East. It's in England. Like, it turns out some of the most radical Muslim adherents, and it's literally in the country that George Washington referred to himself as an English. Like, these people came from England. Now they have a totally different culture.
Yeah.
And it infects everything.
So when I first saw this, I saw the ideas and got a little concerned for our Christian faith. And I said, I don't know if I really want the government blocking or hindering anything they see as a threat.
And then you saw the cross.
And then I saw the cross, and all peace came through. I was good. I was as happy as pie. Said, yep, there's the cross. Good
the cross.
I see what
they're doing.
I see it right there.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there in the graphic. They said,
Christian ideas are safe.
We got this. All of these things.
We understand what's good and what's not good. Other than Christian ideas, we're going to just toss over the water.
It's so funny. The National Coalition Against Censorship said, it is breathtakingly absurd and outrageous to even suggest that ideas need to be policed. It is really not. We really need to police ideas. Because without policing ideas, it leads to the reality that nobody fights for the idea that a child in the womb isn't a life. Right. They just fight for the idea that they will be inconvenienced by that life, so they get to decide if they want to kill that life. That's a bad idea. The idea that that we can chop off healthy breasts and small boys' penises, and this is a horrible idea, and it needs to be policed. Here's the thing: I'm not concerned because bad ideas lose in the realm of good idea, bad idea. I'm not worried about bad ideas losing,
right?
But I'm certainly worried about us volitionally allowing horrible ideas to come across our border and take hold, because we have such a hard time fighting the bad ideas here. We don't need more.
We really don't.
We don't need more. And to think that a country can't govern the ideologies that are coming across its border is absolutely ridiculous. We literally live in a creedal nation. And if you're not going to be in association with that creed, then you can't be American. It's not possible. It's just not possible.
Yeah. It actually speaks directly to the purpose of the borders and purpose of the protection, is to secure what America actually is supposed to be.
Right.
And we've gotten so far away from that. We've gotten so soft on that border that we've allowed people to come in without any right in and coming through properly, and just being here to be here, without giving back, without being part. And so I think this is a good move here.
Yep. I'm sad they took it down. I'm sad that they printed a retraction. And I just wanted everybody to know that you can call me a hateful bigot or whatever else. That's okay. Ask Russia how that's going for them. I mean, just, check in. it's not. It didn't go great. I mean, a lot of people died in Russia. They say that the Lubyanka in the center of Moscow is the tallest building in Russia because you can see Siberia from the basement. Because people were just slaughtered in the basement of the Lubyanka, which, by the way, would be like us slaughtering people in the basement of the congressional building. That's what it would be like, because that's basically what that building is for them.
Yeah.
The secret police is housed there. They had the government officials in there, and then in the basement they just killed any dissidents. That's how it worked. So that's what Lenin started. Bad ideas destroy a nation, and you must be careful what's coming across your border. Anyway, that's story number one.
Numero uno.
For our next story, we'll go to one of those countries that's in Europe that actually has been a little more closed with its border, and that's that country of Hungary. We mentioned Hungary. This is a very fascinating story to me, kind of an eye-opening one. Hungary passes a constitutional amendment. Now, I don't hear law. That's not what it is. They did pass a law. This is not just a law. This is a constitutional amendment. To ban, now this is what this is the AP headline. The Associated Press headline is, Hungary passes a constitutional amendment to ban LGBTQ plus public events seen as a major blow to rights. That's the AP headline. Now, it's not exactly accurate, but then again, what in the AP is exactly accurate? Hard to tell anymore. But the Hungary parliament basically passed a law to protect children from public speech and public assembly that is harmful. Now, I'll try to give you what I mean. They had passed a law that had already done this, but then they enshrined it into a constitutional amendment. So it's now a constitutional right in Hungary. The amendment declares that children's rights, this is probably the most awesome wording that I just was blown away by it. The amendment declares that children's rights to moral, physical, and spiritual development supersede any right other than the right to life, including that of peaceful assembly. So it prohibits any depiction or promotion of homosexuality to minors aged under 18. Meaning, children are to be protected from harmful displays of peaceful assembly that would affect their moral, physical, or spiritual development. And I just want to know when our Congress is going to be enshrining this into our Constitution.
This is the first thing I thought. I'm like, how do we copy this? Paste it into ours. How does that happen?
Yeah, literally cut and paste. Can we get? I just want to hold down left key, select, right click, copy,
paste, and broadcast.
Yes, no, absolutely. This law allows authorities to use facial recognition tools to identify people who attend prohibited events and can come with fines of up to 20,000 Hungarian forints, which is not a lot of money because Hungary is really trying to work on their economy, but it's only about $546. I mean, it's still, I'm not paying, I don't want to pay $546. It's still a good amount. You're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, Hungary's a horrible place. Well, here's the deal. This was passed by this had to be passed by a required 2/3 majority in order for it to be enshrined into law. That means 67% had to vote to put this into their constitution. So the vote was 140 to 21. Yeah. That done worked. Yeah, not a problem. If you do the math, we're talking about 160 divided by 3. That was more. That was good. They had enough. They cleared the hurdle because Hungary is on board with this as a people. This is what they want. They want their children protected from harmful ideologies that will corrupt them before they even have a chance to be able to process information. unlike our school systems, where we teach children how to do fellatio.
So I wonder if, like, so I'm looking at the 140 to the 21 and saying, I wonder if that's representative of the populace, and if it is, which I believe that it is, what I think that our populace may mirror these votes, except for our populace is too silent on the important things. Does that track? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think that if this came through and someone tried pushing this through, I think that we would have the 140 votes to the 21, because I think the populace of those who would be against this is very small. However, that populace is very loud, and those who would be part of the 140, as of right now, tend to be more silent and more appeasing than they should be. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm trying to think. I think it bumps into the same problem that the ICE infographic bumped into.
Okay.
I think there's people that would say that this feels like you're censoring free speech. Mm-hmm. And sometimes free speech in America is a god. Again, it's a small g God against the capital G, true God. The way they framed it is the correct way to frame it. In other words, they didn't frame this as the speech is bad. They framed this as children have a right to not be exposed to harmful images and ideas that they can't combat because they are children, because they're minors. Yeah. In the same way that a minor cannot consent to sexual interactions, right? A minor can't consent to being exposed to these incredibly harmful, quote unquote, peaceful public assemblies, right? Mm-hmm. They can't process these things in a way that is fair and reasonable for them to be able to consent to. Just the same way that we have a Supreme Court case right now where parents weren't able to opt their children out of classroom engagements where they were reading books to elementary kids that were basically taking this exact ideology, actually, pride and the LGBTQIA plus sexual revolution, this exact ideology in books, right? Like Sally the Pride Puppy. Like they're reading these books to these small elementary kids. The parents weren't even given an opportunity to opt out. The arguments that they're making for the books is this isn't a rubriced class, right? It's not like a health class,
right?
Which those parents did have opportunities to opt out of. This is just classroom interaction, where the teacher, by the way, a radical LGBTQIA plus, always, right? Mm-hmm. Marxist. I'm sorry, progressive. Excuse me, progressive sexual. I'm sorry. So, blue-haired. No, stop it. All right. Where the teacher simply chose to read this book to the children. Mm-hmm. So they're saying, well, it's just the teacher's free speech. And the Supreme Court was asking questions like this. No, this is education. You're an educator. You're educating a kid in a classroom. This isn't just your free speech. This isn't even a public assembly. This is children who are supposed to be looking to you as authority, as the authoritative teacher that are now teaching them this. You're teaching them this as fact that they are to adopt.
Which is no place in the classroom.
Right.
Because I may be old school in using these terms, but
we are just old now, Nate. We're just old.
I know. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
How's that Wendy's?
It's not sitting well. It's not sitting well at all.
Oh, sorry.
So reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Don't forget the other part of that rhyme. All to the tune of a hickory stick. That's corporal punishment right there. You mess around, kids, you get whacked.
Right. Man, those were the days.
Yeah, no, this doesn't fall into that at all.
It's amazing how far we've come from actually teaching anything that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see too many adults our age who struggle to just adult.
They struggle so much with life that we now call it adulting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a verb, it's a noun, it's an adjective.
It's if I handed them an iron, they wouldn't know what to do.
You'd be like, do I sync this to my phone? Does this have a Bluetooth button? Where's the pairing button?
Right. If a button pops off, so this is going to be embarrassing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I popped a button on my jeans today.
Oh no. That's the Wendy's.
It was before the Wendy's. But so I'm like, okay, I'll put the button here, and in a matter of a day or so, I'm going to get the thread and needle out and fix the button. I think that
would be
it would be a meltdown.
anybody that was born with a 20 in their year is going to be throwing those jeans out and just
Going.
Just going. Just buy another one.
Completely going. But I'm like, this is what, like, I was taught how to take a needle and thread and fix something. I know how to change the oil in my car. Will I ever do it? No. But
I know where the oil plug is. I know that it goes into a container.
Right. I know those things. Can I change a tire? Sure. But do I have AAA? Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, these are all things that most people nowadays in our age range and younger, for the most part, just don't know how to adult, and we are remiss for not teaching. It starts in the home, and then outward. And
Did you have cards on the table, both Nathan and I went to small Christian schools for the majority of our education.
Mm-hmm. I had a stint in a public school for a couple of years.
Did you ever get taught to change a tire at your schools?
No.
We did. We actually I think it was 6th grade that I got taught to change a tire at school. My sixth grade teacher was really smart at doing stuff like that. We also were in charge of flag care, so we were in charge of taking the flag down.
I did that.
Right, folding the flag
that.
and taking it down every day and putting it up every day. So like, but I remember they had come and taught us how to change a tire.
Yeah.
Like just a dad. Dad came in.
Yeah.
And taught us how to change a tire.
My dad did that.
Right.
So like I don't know why. I must have missed that, or I mean, I was sick that day or something.
Oh no, this was the other small school I went to before we became friends 70,000 years ago.
70,000 years ago. It was a long time ago.
The dinosaurs.
Yeah. No, my dad taught me how to do those things. I learned so much because he taught me how to do those things. And then the school only reinforced. And whatever my parents didn't like, we didn't attend or didn't go to.
I remember learning how to do like finances and balance a budget.
Yeah.
But all of that is like that. We're not even talking about like where we should have the right. So we should have the right to opt our kids out of stuff like in schools. It does 100%. Make sense. Here we're talking about public space events. Hungary is saying like these kids don't have an opportunity if they're walking home from the store and they see some dude in a BDSM holster with a dog helmet on being whipped by some other dude. They can't even opt out of that. Right. So you don't get the right to harm our children's moral, physical, and spiritual well-being just because you want to have a peaceful assembly. And that's intensely accurate. And I feel like we need to all petition our Congress people to
we need to copy and paste this and start just broadcasting it everywhere and saying this is what we want.
I'm even on board with the $546 fine. I think it's a nice fun one. You know,
it is.
Just make it just $546.
Okay, it's a good number.
Or you can pay in 200,000 Hungarian forints if you have those on you.
I don't even know what that even looks like.
I actually spent time in Hungary.
I remember that.
That was. In fact, I'm not going to do that one. What if one of my daughter's friends hears this? Would be embarrassing. But nonetheless, we got to stay in a Hungarian castle. We did some ministry over in Hungary. It was really cool. But yeah, I've seen a forint. It's just like a quarter. It's like a quarter thing. Then they have dollar denominations. It doesn't really matter. The whole constitution of Hungary, though, is predicated upon very important things like identifying two sexes. So, like, they've made that in their constitution. The the amendment formulated around a law that wanted to be enshrined permanently. And I'm just on board. I'm on board with Hungary doing this. I think we do well to take a note that you can have private events, rent an interior space and have a rally or whatever else you want to do. Like, go knock yourself out. But in spaces where kids are walking down the street and you got a festival of degeneracy going on, like, kids shouldn't have to be exposed to that.
Yep.
Right? They should be able to go walk to the park and not have to witness debauchery. Oof. Way to go, Hungary.
Yeah, I love the statement here. Hungary's government has campaigned against LGBTQ plus communities in recent years and argues its child protection policies, which forbid the availability to minors of any material that mentions homosexuality and are needed to protect children from what it calls woke ideology and gender madness.
Just call it what it is, right?
They don't shy away from saying exactly what it is. This is what this is. We're going to call it out. You can label it whatever you want. It's not child protection. It's woke ideology and gender madness.
Madness, which is absolutely correct. It is definitely gender madness. Yeah, so way to protect the children there, Hungary. Yeah. You crazy Slavs over there. I love it. Always reminds me, Pastor Jack always referenced back to his Hungarian roots, his Hungarian ancestry. Look at Hungary go. I remember rose bushes. They all loved rose bushes. So that by their houses, these aren't big houses. These are just concrete structures. Mm-hmm. They were always painted white. They would have a little fence around their yard, and they would plant rose bushes and cultivate the rose bushes. It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
The idea that they actually cared for what they had because it was hard to get stuff. And when you had it, you cared for it.
You cared for it well.
Yep.
Including your kids.
Including your kids. What the heck? If you're going to do anything. But again, little older news, but maybe not drilled down on. I think it's important to drill down on some of these topics.
Mm-hmm.
About the same time, this is our third story, around April 11th, there was a landmark court ruling. Now, you're on the fourth story. I don't know if I'm going to cover that one.
The fourth story?
Are you on the fourth story?
Mine are definitely in a different order than yours.
This is
I got it.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good here.
We're good here. We're all good here. Landmark court ruling in child gender case. This comes out of Australia, so every once in a while, I am always surprised when Australian gets something right. Again, Australia, if you want more Australian, culture, you can go tune into Bluey and the Bible. That's our other podcast.
Or drink some Fosters.
Or drink some Fosters, Australian for beer. Or watch Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. Remember when he's on the limo and he pulls the boomerang looking thing off the back of it was an antenna. They had those weird stupid.
Yeah, I remember.
He rips it off and he wings it at the guy robbing him and whacks him in the head. Oh, Crocodile Dundee.
Those were the days.
And then he can't figure out why the toilet's shooting water at him. It's a bidet. It's like, what? Oh, sorry. All right, it's enough.
Yeah, Australian. Sorry.
In Australia, where everything tries to kill you. Australia. Everything. Bugs try to kill you. Plants try to kill you. The ocean trying to kill you. This is Australia.
The wind.
The wind. To kill you. Yes, all of it. The government. Anyway, a family court judge made, and this is just what the article's saying, an unprecedented and extraordinary ruling. That's raised a lot of questions. Australian news reports that Justice Andrew Strum awarded sole custody of a 12-year-old boy to his father, who opposed the mother's push for the child to be treated with puberty blockers. Now, we've had a lot of cases, Canada and even in America, and fewer, but still growing number of cases, where the judge is ruling in favor of the parent that is affirming the child's gender dysphoria. So the judge says it's okay to transition this child. Here in Australia, suddenly, this judge has literally ruled against the mother who wants to trans the child. and ruled for the father, and not just ruled for, but awarded sole custody of the boy,
Custody.
which is a huge deal. This is one of those court cases that a lot of we want to say courts are independent, but courts and judges are looking at courts and judges all over the place across our country, internationally. So this is just an interesting kind of shoe to drop. It wasn't so much. Obviously, this is sanity. This is just sanity.
Madness.
Right. This is the as the Hungarians would call it, the gender madness being ruled against here, being thrown down. But it's more than that because of what the judge revealed about why he ruled this way. The Australian reports the judge accepted evidence that the gender clinic has an ideological commitment to the medicalized gender affirming model, which is a long way of saying the judge saw the evidence that the clinic, right, that the clinic that this mother was taking the boy to solely was given, or in clear parlance, was a church that worshipped the altar of gender affirming care. That's what the judge basically found. That's what the term ideological commitment comes down to. They were worshiping gender affirming.
Yeah.
Justice Strom, he wrote 58,000 words. So he wrote a lot of words. Some of the words. He wrote, quote, "No alternative treatment options are offered by the clinic for gender dysphoria diagnosed there other than prescription of puberty blockers by a pediatrician." In other words, there is no other possible care than you will now be given puberty blockers.
Yeah.
The doctor, this is one of those really, really fascinating pieces of evidence. The doctor whose diagnosis of the 12-year-old boy was in dispute. By the way, critical piece of evidence. The doctor who diagnosed the 12-year-old boy with gender dysphoria did not diagnose the boy with gender dysphoria until the court case started. So he was going to receive gender affirming care without ever actually being diagnosed. Which is insane.
So the kid's mother took him to the clinic.
Yep.
He walked in the clinic.
Yep.
The clinic said, "We are going to prescribe for you puberty blockers,
Yep.
even though we have not even made a diagnosis of what your issue actually is."
Correct.
So where did he get his doctor's license from?
Probably Harvard. Probably Yale. I don't know. Stanford. Here's this little tidbit. A doctor whose diagnosis of the 12-year-old boy was in dispute, right? Obviously. Yeah. One, you just diagnosed him? Said, quote, "Could not identify a single case of a child who had been referred by her or one of her colleagues to a pediatrician at the clinic who had not been prescribed puberty blockers."
So wait.
Yeah.
So we have this clinic.
Yep.
That I'm going to say majority mothers, and they'll probably get in trouble for that, but
No, it's true.
okay. Well, majority mothers who want to affirm foolishness in their children.
Yep.
Take their kids to this clinic.
Yep.
With doctors who do not diagnose any type of issue or whatever. They turn around and just prescribe puberty blockers to children without diagnosis.
Yes.
And that's from the words from the doctor who couldn't give one instance where that wasn't the case.
So it's a 100%, right? A 100% prescription rate of puberty blockers at the clinic. That's what now, hopefully what you're getting there, hopefully what you're hearing, by the way, is the weight of the reality, right? Mm-hmm. This judge is like, there's no other way to say this. This is an ideologically driven clinic that only tries to prescribe puberty blockers to affect the physiology of children, right? Mm-hmm. Right. The judge criticized the approach of hospitals to children questioning their gender, saying the decision to, quote, affirm unreservedly, end quote, any child that raises concern over their gender is, quote, oddly binary, right? It's supposed to be a non-binary community, but this is oddly binary. There's only one choice. You will now be on puberty blockers. In handing down this landmark judgment, Justice Strom sided with the father who wanted to hold off on treatment and, quote, let the child be the child. Oh, my gosh.
Let the child
That's ridiculous.
live.
How dare that? What a bigot that dad is.
Horrible.
What a gross bigot.
Horrible.
This is the simple, it's just simple sanity. The mother's like, we're going to give you these drugs. They haven't been tested in any long-term way on your effects for your body. We're just going to give them to you because you are going to be a girl now.
And you haven't communicated or even understand anything that you have communicated. Yep. I'm just going to take you over here, and they're going to pump you full of drugs, and we're going to see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, that is and then we have the other side, right, where the dad's like, yeah, I think my kid could just be a kid, and probably none of this is a problem. Yeah, none of this is probably a problem at all.
Let's let him grow up. Let's let him live some life. And let's see where things go.
Yep. The judge concluded at this stage in the child's life, all options should be left open without any unacceptable risk of harm to the child, which is basically like, yeah, how about this kid's just going to be a kid and we're not just going to start pumping him full of hormones. Yep. We're not going to do that. That's not a thing we're going to do. The judge did note profound risks and uncertainties over the use of puberty blockers amid a lack of long-term long-term data. Let's just use that. He did utilize the cash report, by the way, which was put out by England, which, I mean, of all the things England can't figure out, it does seem to really, England has definitely figured out that this gender stuff is going a little overboard. He expressed surprise that the gender clinic involved, quote, continues to represent to parents and children that puberty blockers are fully reversible and relatively risk-free, end quote. That's because that's not true. It was like, I don't know how they can keep saying this out loud. What's wrong with these people? It is absolutely just a breath of sanity.
Yeah.
I feel like we live in an insane world.
We do. I forget. I don't know who it was I was talking to this past week, but we were talking about the progression of tearing down the Imago Dei and tearing down things around us, and how our adversary has gone after each piece throughout history. And so now we've gotten to the kids, right? So while we went from like the home, started breaking down the home, removing fathers from the home, emasculating men. Women can do anything I can do better, and all that. And we broke all of that down. And then we've slowly started affirming same-sex marriage and all these other things, and like just muddying that water. And now you can adopt a kid as a same-sex couple, and like we just keep going down deeper. And then now let's now go after the kids. And so we're going after the kids, and then the kids worse and worse and worse and worse. And then I was thinking and said, what's next? So next we start confirming or adding in human rights for animals, because why not? So that brings humanity, the Imago Dei, down to level playing field with the creation, in which God,
the gerbils and
the gerbils and all these other things,
and the puppies,
right? Exactly. So now we've broken it down even more. And then I thought and said, what's next after that? What do you think?
Yeah, well, if it could be animals, I don't know. What do you think?
AI.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't even know. AI might even come before the animals. I don't even know.
Why not? Like, if we can go all the way from how God said and set things up to be, and we can go and break it all the way down to where I have, as a human being created in the image of God, have no difference than the dog I own, right?
Right, then you can marry your computer girlfriend.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And my computer girlfriend then has rights.
Yeah.
That could supersede my own rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we're just in Terminator.
As if these movies have not already told us how these things go. Like,
We do know that we're the ones that blotted the sun, that blot out the sun.
we were talking the other day at work about, and we're all over the place right now, but we were talking the other day at work about when a virus, somebody had clicked on an email or something in the office.
No.
And the virus started going through the office.
NSFW, not safe for work.
And the computer people could not figure out what to do. And I'm like, did you not watch the net? Pull the network cables out the back of all these computers. And they're like, no, it'll be fine. We'll just quarantine these computers over here. I'm like, they're still plugged into the network. It's like, it is crazy.
What is wrong with people?
It is crazy how far.
Have you not seen the net? That's Sandra Bullock.
It's Sandra Bullock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, where they pulled the plugs.
Kids, you haven't seen this movie. It's an old one. Sorry, The Net with Sandra Bullock.
With Sandra Bullock, but like it applies to that. We are so connected. Just pull a plug. Get disconnected. AI can't function if we just.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, animals. They've been fighting for animals to be the same as people for a long time.
For a long time.
Thankfully, that has. I mean, honestly, they really reached a stalemate.
Yeah.
People like eating steak.
They do.
I love bacon.
Yeah.
And people are really like, you know what, guys? If I can't get me my chicken nuggets, my saucy nugs, how am I going to
saucy nugs that are really
survive?
wrecking my stomach right now? It's such a mistake.
I think a moral of the story here is that when we we should celebrate a case like this. And it wasn't perfect. He did say, quote, "This is a case about a child and a relatively young one at that, not one about the cause of transgender people." So, I mean, he did say that. He's qualifying it. But when we get a breath of sanity in the air, we should just rejoice and be thankful.
100%.
And yeah, I think when it comes to breaking down society by destroying what marriage is and then destroying what gender is, and then I think the real problem, Nate, with the kids, probably the first part for me, is that they want the kids to be able to consent to anything, right?
Yeah.
So we want to normalize pedophilia. We want to normalize children's ability to choose. And
Right.
in New Jersey, we now have 16-year-olds voting in school board elections. Did you know that? They got rid of the 18-year-old thing. So now 16-year-olds. So now the kids can vote on the school board, right? So that's cool.
So if the kids like Mrs. Whoever, who used to be Mr. Whoever,
And put them on the school board, yeah.
the kids can vote for
Yeah, we'll put them on the school board.
because they're fun. And
Yeah, because
whatever.
they gave me all A's. I got A's for participation. She called me by my preferred pronoun. That's so that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Because we don't let kids decide what they should be eating, right? Like we don't let a kid decide whether they should be wearing shorts in the middle of winter or whether or not they need a coat in the rain. But we can let them make other like how they should be educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we should let them choose.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a great way to go.
Yeah. So how about we let kids be kids, make sure adults have rights, and that'll probably be good for everybody.
Yeah, it'll go well. We'll look back 10 years from now and say, "Look, this has turned out so well.
This is much better. Why didn't we do this all along?
should've done
Why did
this.
we let that insanity?" Let me just check how long. Yeah.
What are you thinking? Should we end on a positive note?
Yeah, we should just. Yeah, we can end on a positive note. You want to end here? You want to end on a positive note of the next story?
I think we should end on a positive note of the next story and just say that this is a welcomed message.
Yeah. I know. And if Jesse were here, he'd be pushing back that it's just words, and it is. It is absolutely just words. I do not disagree with Jesse on this, but if you missed it, the White House released a message for Holy Week this year, presidential message on Holy Week 2025. If you remember, this time last year, the presidential message on Holy Week was given by Joe Biden to celebrate Transgender Day of Visibility. That's what the message from the White House last year was. It was, we should see all transgender people, and all of us thought, we can't not see them. Right. Oh my gosh, you're clearly visible. We get it. Okay,
we have not missed you.
So it's like, please, I don't want to see anymore.
We've seen enough.
But this year, it's really good. I liked your question though when you read it. Like, I want to know who wrote this.
I want to know who wrote this. I need to know who wrote this, because this, I respect the man of the hour, the president that is in place right now, and whatever. But at the same time, I do not believe personally that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that this is like. I mean, this goes down as one of the great, as one of those. This is truly seems like a presidential invocation that would have come out, much closer to, 1880, 1920 than it would come out in 2020.
Well, it's not spoken in their English, but I agree with you.
But it's the thrust of the importance
100%.
of Christ is clear.
Yeah.
There's whole paragraphs. I mean, I could read the whole thing, but it's really good. You should check it out. You should give it a read, and then pray that it is the truth of the actual actions of our executive branch, and that it would be adopted by our legislative branch and our judicial branch, because the theme of it is quite good. Maybe it's got a little some slightly universal speak. I don't know if the whole picture of salvation is clear in there, but so much of it is very good. The last two paragraphs, it says, "This Holy Week, my administration renews its promise to defend the Christian faith in our schools, military workplaces, hospitals, and halls of government," which is great. Like, those are all places the Christian faith is desperately needed. By the way, still working on getting Pete Hegseth a copy of the Warfighter Catechism, but we'll keep working on that, everybody. It's in the works. He goes on to say, we will never waver in safeguarding the rights to religious liberty, upholding the dignity of life, and protecting God in our public square. As we focus on Christ's redeeming sacrifice, we look to his love, humility, and obedience, even in life's most difficult and uncertain moments. This week, we pray for an outpouring of the Holy Spirit upon our beloved nation. We pray that America will remain a beacon of faith, hope, and freedom to the entire world. We pray to achieve a future that reflects the truth, beauty, and goodness of Christ's eternal kingdom in heaven. Like, those are just fantastic words. Like, I mean, largely, I can say those as just in my own faith with what I believe as a Reformed Christian believer in God's word, his revealed word.
That's how I felt reading it. I read through and said, yep, mm-hmm,
yep,
yeah, yep, mm-hmm.
Yes, yep. There's some aspects I don't know that he safeguarded salvation. Some slightly universal sounding like salvation. Everyone has said, like, no, not everybody's saved. If you don't confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that he rose from the dead, you shall not be saved. You must believe. You must do those things to be saved. But largely, I was on board with it. It's a very.
I will take more messages coming from the presidential arena like this than 99.9%. Of the messages that came through previous.
Yep. I think that's just highly accurate. We haven't had something this good in a long time.
Yeah. It was it
has been something this American and moral since we had to fight since 9/11 happened. Like, that's how long it's been. And for those of you that weren't born when 9/11 happened, there's a lot of patriotic, moral, Christian value type stuff happening when 9/11 happened. It shook the dust off of our faith a lot then. And this is great. I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, much more of this.
Much more.
Now, Nathan, you gonna try to sync up with me on this?
Sync up with you on the ending?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we're in person, and I'm always being Jesse are messing this up all the time now.
Because you're syndicated.
No,
is that the wrong word?
Syndicated is when you get to be nationalized, like, across either a publishing platform of some kind.
No, that's a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we're not that good. One day, I don't think so. We are not synchronized. That's for sure.
Synchronized.
Yeah, we're not synchronized because we're remote.
It's the saucy nuts.
The saucy nuts.
They're messing with my brain.
Well, dear Christian, I do hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. I hope it's brought some depths to these stories, and I would encourage you to go back and read them. We'll put the links in the show notes. and get your own opinions and maybe talk about these with your kids. These are great conversation starters to have with your family. These are some very positive things to consider, how they would apply to America, some of these foreign stories, or what ways in which the court rulings should be enacted this way. Well, how do they reveal God's eternal truths? So definitely enjoy those conversations and be edified and encouraged. And as we like to say at the end of every podcast, we hope that you this day would seize the faith.